Once you grasp this truth that I'm about to tell you, it'll set you free from religion. It'll set you free from parents and moms and family and governments and police, everybody. It'll set you free. And it's simply this. You are divine. God has exploded in a Crab Nebulae explosion, and he has come and manifested himself as billions of people. And you're one of you, and so am I. When I look at you, I see God. When you look at me, you see God. That's why God's name is I Am. I am God. It doesn't mean that me, God. It means I am. When you say I am God, you have to say, what is God's name? I am. What? I am God. Oh my God, then all people, Christians run around, oh, I told you they think they're God. I don't think anything on the side. No, Jesus Christ said, the scripture says you are God, and the scripture cannot be broken. So he said it.
Yeah, like I'm not third album.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, we're going to be talking about the Scorpio New Moon happening on the 13th at 20 degrees. This is a time to set new intentions and start something new. I definitely think it's not the eclipse, it's not an eclipse, but from the past eclipses, this is the first Scorpio new moon where the eclipses of Scorpio and Taurus are over. And so I definitely think every time we see a Scorpio new or full moon, it's going to be bringing in more pieces of that story are going to be unfolding. And so the Taurus and Scorpio axis is money, just period, especially on a global scale. And so we'll see inflation unfolding, right? So prices will rise, especially with food, because this is going to oppose Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus right now. Taurus is food, money, banks, more banks closing. I think I heard something about Citizens. Don't quote me on the name. And Wells Fargo having more trouble, or people having trouble getting their money out the bank, and being told that it has something to do with, the system not working well. Although I think it's something else. um, there could be shortages in food. It might be tight for people financially, especially if you're not able to get your money out the bank. Not necessarily that you don't have the money, but getting access to it. I think there could be shortages in general of a lot of different things because Jupiter's still in Taurus, and Jupiter, even though Jupiter is not connected to this eclipse, still, this is about import and export. And I think I talked about that in the Saturn direct video. So I definitely think that we're going to see some kind of delays or something with that for sure. Especially if there's war going on in other countries, and they're not wanting to partner with us. We do have Libra in the South Node, which is about doing business with other countries and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. This is definitely intense emotions. The moon is our emotions, our thought patterns, and how we feel about things. And so I definitely think when it comes to relationships, we'll see intense emotions in relationships, freedom, financial freedom, finances, and there can be more talks about digital currency for sure. I actually think I seen a commercial, the first, just recently. So they're trying to ease their way in there with, the propaganda of all that stuff. I think we can see people there being more conflicts and rebelliousness and sudden action with the Uranus energy, being impatient, taking risks. Also innovation and unpredictable breakthroughs. Scorpio is about change and transformation. And so there can be some unexpected events that cause you to have some kind of breakthrough. 20 degrees of Scorpio. 20 degrees is the degree of Scorpio. And so that's triple the energy. It's Scorpio season. So sun is in Scorpio, moon is in Scorpio, and the 20 degrees at Scorpio, that's a lot of energy in Scorpio. Um, and Mars is in Scorpio. So that's a pretty big deal right there of really helping us cut the lower expressions of Scorpio energy out. And so a lot of this stuff is going to rise up within us to help us cut those things out that don't bring us happiness, joy, and pleasure, passion, and intimacy, so that we can truly change and transform into, it's like shedding skin, to become this new person, or the rising of the phoenix, so that we can have a different perspective on things that haven't been working out for us. We'll get an opportunity to see, oh, this is why this isn't working, so that we can work on it and change it. So over the next 6 months, when that full moon in Scorpio comes, you'll start to see the benefits of whatever you work on now. And like I said in the Saturn and Pisces video, you do want to work on some stuff. Like, now is not the time to be doubting that your enemies don't have plans for you. Now is not the time to think that the world is not crumbling. This is war. This is the energy of war, of destroying something, a foundation of things breaking down, so that we can rebuild it back up. And so a lot of things will have this kind of breakdown energy. And wherever those things are breaking down, they'll need to be rebuilt in a new way. And so even though this is a new moon, I still feel like it has a lot of the energy of a full moon, of things kind of coming to light that need to be fixed and worked on and changed in some kind of way. And so the 20 degrees of Scorpio can be a risk of one's life, a threat, something or someone that has died, to kill or be killed, bullies, dangerous people, graves, corpses, skeletons, cemeteries, and underground worlds. Scorpio rules the underground. Operations, surgery, operation rooms, going under operation, to amputate, to cut off, lameness, someone's property, everything belonging to someone else, because Scorpio rules people who owe you money and people who owe money, who you owe money to. So this is bills, debts, loans, taxes, government money, child support, yeah, for the money part, and investments, obviously, right? I don't think we'll see the stock market. I mean, we obviously will have a drop, but I don't think the stock market's going to be that thing that falls apart, at least not yet, but it is coming. Um, Toilets, restrooms, litter, trash. I've talked about this in past videos, that Scorpio is my Wally placement. Y'all remember the movie Wally, who was like the junkyard person for all the parts? This is definitely Scorpio energy. And then Taurus is like, can be like the hoarder, right? There can be some things there, like, especially if somebody has this in their fourth house where they have a lot of junk or things that they can do something with in their house, either do something with it or give it back to the junkyard, or somebody who can do something with it, right? Because this is definitely about decluttering and kind of clearing things out. Destroying something, decayed, pathology, forensics, abuse of language, sex, sexual intercourse, arouse, reproductive organs. I definitely think this is going to be a lot of sex. So this energy is going to bring up a lot of anger, frustration, violence, and impatientness. This is the energy of rape. I don't foresee that really coming up as much as I do, as I've had in the past. I think this is more so about passionate sex in a way to release and manifest, if you know how the study of that. This could also be about semen retention and being able to have sex for long periods of time, a way, again, as a way to heal. Especially now with Libra and the South Node. Remember, sex is an art. I know it's not talked about a lot, but for sure, you can rest assured that this is more so about healing through sex, sexual healing, or like the different positions that can release tension, pain, stress. I forget the name of, I think his name is Nichiyama, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but there's this guy who does and no touching, by the way. He just talks to women and knows how to talk to women, and he heals sexually through that way. It's been a while since I've, listened to him. I know I've talked about him on here before, but there are ways that you can use scorpionic energy for that purpose, right? And so there could be a lot of sex going on here for sure. This could also be underground basements, loans, scholarships to borrow money, pregnancy, birth, and deliveries. Um, this new moon will conjunct Mars and oppose Uranus, like I said. And this combination is volatile, it's triggering, it's angry, impatient energy. It's important to stay grounded and do whatever you have to do to stay grounded. So, whenever we're talking about Mars, again, this is sex or any kind of movement, taking action towards something, having courage to stand up for yourself. And be your authentic self with Uranus. Be innovative, be creative, be different, think outside the box. Use colors. This definitely can be some chakra healing, specifically the root chakra with Mars and Scorpio, or doing like some kind of detox intensively, something that's super intense, an intense workout, fast walking, running, jogging. Yeah. A lot of those things will be helpful to help you kind of relieve. You gotta get that volatility up and out. And so this could also obviously also be health issues that come up a lot here with people, things that come to the surface. Um, um, I'm trying to think like what kind of well, it's not retrograde. Nothing's really retrograde. What Uranus is, it could be sexually transmitted diseases. So you might want to be careful who you're sleeping with at this time. I'm not really picking that up with this energy, to be honest with you. But it could be different kind of diseases that come up that have been dormant within inside of you that you have to take care of in some way, shape, or form. Um, be mindful of your fears, uncomfortable emotions, and intensity. There can be a desire to move and take action in a new way. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto is the modern ruler, and Pluto currently is in Capricorn, and we're still wrapping up that last final degree I don't think it's at 29 just yet. I think it's at 28. And so it's still pretty intense, but it is direct. And so whatever house you have Capricorn and you want to pay attention to that as well. But more than anything, again, this is giving us an opportunity to prepare for what's to come over the next 6 months and what will be unfolding even more so until 2025 when things really going to get funky and different. And I've talked about that all of 2020. So if you want to go back to my videos in 2020 and hear, all the stuff that I talked about back then, feel free to do so. But pretty much this is about preparation, with Taurus being on the opposite side of that, as if you were in war, survival of the fittest. Mars is about survival, and having survival instincts and knowing what moves to make, knowing how to hunt, um, and bring that as practical as you need to for, what the day and times that we're in now. But essentially, we're talking about survival here. Um, it's a fixed sign. And so it's going to be hard. These changes are not going to come easily for a lot of people, especially for the fixed signs. Um, they don't like change. They like things to stay the way that they are, but a lot of these things are dissipating and it's time to change. And so there's definitely going to be tension with the new things that you start right now, especially now that Saturn and Pisces is moving forward. Um, Oof. I don't think this is going to be a fun energy, to be quite frank, unless you've been ready. Like if you've been showing up here and you've taken at least something away from these videos and you're very intentional, writing down notes and things of that nature, I'm not going to say it's not going to be easy, but it'll be easier, right? As opposed to having Uranus come in and unexpectedly snatch something away from you because you don't want to change. That's going to be more painful. When the universe takes over, it's a lot more harsher, right? It's a lot more in this energy of stress and triggers and things of that nature. I definitely think people are going to piss you off. Be mindful how you react to those things because that's going to be your karma and you're going to have to deal with that. And trust and believe me, Saturn is paying attention. He's taking notes and he's like, oh, so that's how you want to handle shit? Okay, I got you. And it could end up being something violent, or it could lead to death or some kind of consequence that gets you in a lot of trouble. And there's a flip side to that I'll be talking about in just a minute here. But essentially, what we're talking about here is transformation, shadow work, and working through things. So long as you're doing those things, again, you'll be on the easier side of this. Again, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, the fixed signs will feel this the most, as well as Aries, because Aries is also ruled by Mars. And Scorpio is about exposing things, undercover work, crime, especially crime with money, um, food, dealing with things that we don't want to look at. Pluto is like older people, and I did talk about this in the Saturn video as well, and politics that want to hold on to power, but those things that they're holding on to, again, they're falling apart. And we will see this playing out on the world stage over time, how a lot of things are going to be changing because of this falling apart. And this is when they'll start to implement the Uranus and energy, which is technology, fusing technology in the bodies of robots, because that's the way that they can keep power, or one way they can keep power. I think we'll see a lot of whistleblowers who are going to come forefront to tell what they see going on behind the scenes, right? And telling people like, be prepared, get real, because this is what they're doing. when it comes to our food and finances and pharmaceuticals too, obviously, right? I don't think that's quite died down yet. Um, so Uranus is going to bring tension with the new things that you want to start. Um, but to the old ways of doing things. So again, if you're not changing and you're still doing the same old, Uranus is going to come in and rattle and shake stuff up for sure. Um, you might find yourself challenging authority figures around traditional norms, your values and beliefs, kind of what you stand on, your philosophy. Um, even when it comes to being your authentic self. So again, remember, as you change on an individual level, this is going to piss some people off because you're going to force other people to look at themselves in the mirror like, shit, should I be changing too? And they might not be ready to, and that might be hard for them. So their reaction can be a bit they could be triggered, and it could be again volatile, disrespectful, abusive, even if you're trying to move away from something that makes them feel comfortable. Um, yeah. Um, even if you want more freedom in whatever way that looks like to you, again, this could be financial freedom, or just freedom of being who you are and making changes and doing what you want and living the way that you want. There's definitely going to be some issues with that. Um, and challenges around that for sure. Depending on what level you're at, you'll see it more. But I can get into that, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay, I'm not in the mood. But I've been on here talking about, what it means to build financial freedom. And let's just take Donald Trump as an example. And you can see the changes he tried to make when he put up the borders. And look at how they're treating him now, because he tried to change something that really actually needs to be changed, right? For the greater good of our country and who we are and who we stand for. But you have to understand that I've talked about this before, that when they bring foreigners over in here and they start waging in wars and things of that nature, it's to keep the system going. So imagine what they're thinking while he's trying to put up borders. And this is why he's going through what he's going through. That's the bigger picture, the overall story. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to it. Trump obviously has been doing shit he ain't had no business in getting away with it for a really long time, but he's got that freedom, financial freedom at a certain level where you have power to do that. That's why everybody comes to America. But you can see within that storyline how much of a lie that is. So I guess what I'm saying is more money, more problems, right? And I do think a lot of people are building up to that for the freedom, for the people who understand that. Some people really don't. They just don't get it and they don't care. But in that way, you know, that's going to be a problem. And I even think they're going to start to get even more extensive. So even people who don't really care about money, and it's not like material things, but having the thing, natural things, right? Because remember, we're talking about Taurus as an opposition to Scorpio. Taurus is about natural things, natural products, natural care, natural eating, natural food, natural whatever, right? All encompassing. They'll start charging you for farmers, and whatever the process is. They could either raise prices or add additional prices. Well, now you have to pay for the fact that your cows breathe our air. And I'm not being funny, I'm being literal, because it's getting that serious for them. So you will see these things taking place, which I don't, it's not funny. It kind of is, but it's not, because I really do feel like it's going to get to that point where they're going to start charging us to put piss in our own toilet, right? We do get charged for that already, but I'm trying to think of other ideas of things that aren't naturally charged for. They are going to start to charge for because America is pretty much broke. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And they've probably been broke for a really long time. But because they can print money, they get away with a lot of shit and making people believe that there's this American dream that is was never really there in the first place, right? And so it's going to be real interesting to see all the changes and things that kind of break down infrastructurally. But yeah, I hope that made sense because I really just went on a tangent. But even for a change of direction in your life, again, people are going to be threatened by that and see that as a problem and charge. Mars is about attacking or charging forward motion towards something, right? And so you could have a lot of people come for you. I think Aries are probably going to be feeling this the most because they're ruled by Mars, right? And it's always going to feel like an attack, or they always feel like they're being attacked in some way, shape, or form. It really depends on what house this is in for you. So it'll be different for everybody, obviously. But I definitely think those things are going to be real things. Um, so essentially, what we're talking about here is morals, ethics, and principles. You know, what do you do when faced with doing the right thing? This can come with conflict and consequences, obviously. And depending on what side you are on of that, there's jail time, again, violence and death, like I was saying before, that you can be facing depending on your actions and how you respond to things. But then there's that high moral ground where you come off as unwilling to compromise, but it's really showing your strength under pressure in the pursuit of your beliefs. I think we're going to see a lot of systems crumble in the spring to evolve us spiritually. This is indeed a spiritual war, and I think that all the things in this world created to divide us and keep us in this frame of mind and this lower vibration is so that we don't prepare. So be vigilant, become the detective, do your research, study law, martial arts, boxing, shooting guns, whatever it takes to make sure that you are protected, you and your family. Um, yeah, because I definitely think they'll be trying to hide things so that they can sell this new technological world, have access to everything but own nothing. With the savior complex. Oh, we don't have any more electricity. Let's do every electricity free for everybody or solar panels or something to that effect. So but you don't own any access to that anymore. And I know everybody's like, we don't own access to that anyway. But be careful what you are willing to sign off for because it seems a lot easier. Because it's definitely going to be a trick. That's and some people are going to want that and they don't care. They're like, whatever. Like, you know, they don't want to have to fight. They don't have to fight, or their morals and ethics are different from mine and how I'm seeing this. So, take it how it fits for you and whatever you're comfortable with. But if you know that you have some kind of disagreements with the way this country is run right now, just think about what those things are. Pay attention to whether or not they're changing and build a resource for it on your own. That's a better way to say that out loud because it is coming. And if you don't have something, then you're going to be subject to the technological world anyway. And just we're going to be still in that on that rabbit wheel of trying to get up and out of poverty. And I think at this point it's going to be a little bit more desolate to the point where we become super like what was the name of that movie? Um Idiosyncrasy. Go watch that movie. And that's what it is that they're trying to sell with this technological world. And watch how it makes the people mad fucking dumb and desolate. Um, yeah, just go watch that movie, come back and watch this video, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Um, so yeah, anyway, so we're at a turning point to create our own reality. We are definitely going to be releasing and letting go of certain things that no longer serve us and building stability, security, and safety. So again, learn how to shoot a gun, learn how to fight, learn how to build resources and finances to be prepared for when these things do come up, because they will, in fact, come up. It's not a question of if, it's when. And I think 2025 is going to be but I think we'll see smaller things happening over time until then, but we'll see. Anyways, family, as usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.